Last year, I had a viral video where I asked this question. Is it easier dating men or women? This is how my ass was looking after my first relationship with a woman. I developed alopecia and I lost my edges. Ask me again. At 35 years old, I came out as a bisexual woman, and 5 years later, at the age of 40, I definitely have some stories to tell. Join me as I talk about being a late in life lesbian. Let's get into it on After the First Sip. So starting off with the sip of the week, we have Bacardi rum and Ocean Spray Diet 5 Cran Pineapple juice. We're keeping it very simple, very light, very fresh, okay? It's a good one. Go ahead. Let's take this sip. Yeah, right there, right there. Hopefully you have had a chance to see my other videos that I made. If not, watch them after this, because I was like, oh, I'll give you a background as to all the things that were kind of going on with me during that time. But I'll say that after I had moved to Nashville, I decided I just wanted to try something different, get into it really. When it comes to men and women, I had dated a woman in college, or not date. We did some messing around, but there really wasn't anything serious. And honestly, in my 20s and my 30s, early 30s, I just wasn't really interested in pursuing women. It just isn't something that was in my brain, but I was always attracted to women. And so when I moved to Nashville, I decided I wanted to give it a try. I wanted to get outside of my box that I had put myself in, and I was ready to see what the world of women had for me. In my mind, all there existed was women that liked women. And so I was just expecting to be embraced by the community. I was expecting to have these amazing experiences and to ride off into the sunset with my wife. That did not happen. I will honestly say that I have had some of the probably rougher experiences dating women, more so than dating men. Men were pretty simple for me. Like, what they expected or the things surrounding them wasn't really that bad. Women were psychological terrors. But I love them dearly. Listen, I love women. I love women dearly. I love y'all so bad. But an unhealed woman or unhealed women that are pursuing anything with other women are just dangerous things to be around. But I will say that I had gotten caught up in the idea that women, older women maybe, were different. That women were more mature, they had more understanding, they were able to express themselves better, that they were being genuine and authentic individuals. Unfortunately, that was a lie. That was a lie. And I will say that there was a lot of naiveness that I had regarding this individual and the whole community in itself. Believe me, after I stopped talking to this individual, I got so many people saying this person is a terrible person. They do this to a lot of different women. In fact, there was a lot of different experiences that I had that I recognize now were actually common experiences that individuals were having. And because I was not engaged in community, I got played. I got played. If I had to do it over again, I would have started with community. I would have found individuals who were in the same kind of headspace that I was in, having newly discovered women and the beauty of women and wanting to explore that, having questions about that, really trying to engage in what that even meant. Because at the time when I did start pursuing women, there was this big backlash against bi women. No one wanted to date bi women or it seemed as if they took bi women as a joke. I thought that when I started to date women that I would encounter women who liked women, and that was it. There was no nuances or anything else in between. If you're here, if you're pursuing me, if you want me, then we are going to out loud be living our lives together, either dating, getting to know each other, whatever that might look like. But I encountered a lot of circumstances and situations that were quite confusing. So I encountered a lot of DL women, women who were interested in being with women, but didn't want anyone else to know that they were with women and had no actual intention on being with a woman, dating a woman, marrying a woman. They really honestly wanted all the aspects of being around a woman, but they didn't want to actually be in a relationship with the woman. Keep it hidden. I had individuals who were interested in dating me, but because I said that I was bi, they did not want to pursue anything solid with me because apparently bi women are a different breed. They didn't want to engage with that. I had individuals who pursued me, wanted to pursue me, but were not out themselves. And so because they were not out, this led to them, it led to a lot of conflict. It led to a lot of conflict and just a barrage of other different experiences that I had being a newly bi woman late in life. Now this is my mindset. This is what I was thinking. I'm 35 years old. I've dated men before. I know what it is to date them. But with women, again, I thought, hey, they're older, they're mature, they got their stuff together, they know what they want, they're eager to engage in pleasure, they know what it is that they're doing, they're healed, they're working on themselves, or they are just pursuing a better life. Unfortunately, that was just not the case. I unfortunately have encountered a lot of broken women, a lot of women who struggle in their sexuality, a lot of women who have not come to terms with their feelings about other women, a lot of women. And I can only do my experience. Your experience might be very different. And I'm glad for you if it is. I'm glad that if in your experience you were embraced, you met the love of your life, or you had some amazing years with someone and you are all riding off into the sunset. That was not my experience. I'll get more into it, but let's start with my very first woman relationship. It was really one of those things where dating apps probably are my worst enemy. They probably are the things that get me in trouble the most because I met her on a dating app. I was being curious and she literally had put in her bio, and it was one of them, it was POF, y'all. That app is the bane in my side. But it was POF. She had said, hey, in her profile, she was like, I'm a porn star. Now, was I trying to see what she was talking about? Yes. Was I wrong for that? Maybe. Did I set myself up for failure? Sure did. But hey, like, you're a porn star. What is this about? We're talking on POF. We're starting to get to know each other more. I go and see her, and that is when disaster struck. Okay? This individual was extremely toxic, violent. Not a good individual, had a lot of mental health issues, had a criminal past, wasn't very assertive in terms of what they were trying to do with their lives. I mean, just bottom of the barrel, and had an ex that was still around. In fact, there wasn't an ex, they were still together. There are so many stories of me interacting with this woman and her ex. During that time, I was so stressed out that I actually developed alopecia. My hair was falling out. My hair was thinning. I was with this woman for probably 6 to 7 months. I I turned 35 in August, and it was right before my birthday that we began to interact with one another. Now, eventually, I let her go. I honestly would prefer that I not have come out at 35. I would have honestly waited until I was married. I was married with a woman, and here's why. When I first started dating this woman was extremely toxic, terrible individual. We had a couple of physical altercations. When I was going through all the things that I was going through, I was expressing kind of what I was going through on Instagram, saying like, hey, like I'm in this relationship with this woman, but it's getting rough out here. And a lot of individuals who knew me from my past were watching what was going on, and they were kind of advising, well, maybe do you want to say these things? Do you want to say what's going on? And my thing is, I'm living out loud. I'm living out loud proud. I'm going to say what's going on with me because I need other people to know. I was trying to understand if what was happening with me was normal with this first individual, and it wasn't. What ended up happening was that my former pastor found out, and we had a conversation, and in that conversation he's like, you know, you're engaging in these behaviors, this violence with this woman, you guys are in a very toxic situation, you need to let your parents know what's going on, and if you do not let them know, then I'm going to let them know. Now, at the time, I did not realize he was talking about outing me because my parents did not know that I was in a relationship with a woman. They did not know the circumstances or the situations around that. And I know that at the time, I'm sure he was thinking that he wants to help me. He wants to make sure that I'm okay. And telling my parents was maybe a way for me to be held like accountable or to get out of that situation. But it was outing. It definitely was 100% outing. Now, he didn't judge me about being with the woman. We really didn't have too much conflict with that. It was just more so like, you're in this situation that is not good for you. You need to get out. I go home and I tell my parents, hey, I am in this relationship with this woman. It's very violent, very toxic. Their thought was, girl, we were just hoping that you wasn't getting beat up. And I was like, no, that was definitely not happening. But they weren't as, I guess, judgmental as I thought they were going to be. I had come from a religious background, former minister. I was just sure that when I said, hey, I'm dating this woman, that they were going to be upset, but they weren't. They said, okay, you know, we want you to live your life, but we don't want you to live your life dangerously. And sure enough, I absolutely ended up cutting things off with that particular individual, but it really did unfortunately set, I feel like, a bad tone for me being a bisexual woman. That is not the norm. I encountered a sick, narcissistic person, and that unfortunately tainted my coming out because I believe that bisexuality, me being a bisexual woman, is a beautiful thing. I don't have any problem with that. I think it's amazing. I love men. I love women. I don't have a conflict about enjoying both. Even though I haven't dated men since 2019, there is nothing in me that is like, well, if men are still an option for me if I want them to be. And women are an option for me if I want them to be. And I'm very open about how I feel about both. So I just hated that. I hated that my coming out was tainted by a violent situation. Because it didn't have to be that. And so I would encourage you that if you are like, I'm curious, I want to try and date other women, I want to try and see what's out there, then take your time, research, look up other people's experiences, go to different events, talk to individuals who are willing to talk to you, and Get an overall better understanding before you have to step out there. You don't have to come out to anybody. You don't. You don't have to do that. But you will find that once you start living in your truth and your liberation, then you'll want to let the world know. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's also nothing wrong with waiting until you're comfortable and waiting until you're in a space to be able to do that. Did I lose individuals in my life because I came out as bi? Sure. Do I miss them? Nope. Any individual that walked away from my life or decided they no longer wanted to commune with me because I am gay can kiss my ass. And honestly, good riddance to you. Good riddance to you. Because certainly, surely, I would not want to have somebody in my life who knows my character, my morals, my values, who has seen me show up, who has seen me be a good person, who has seen me show up for them, who has been a part of my life and knows that I exude positivity. You know that about me. You've seen that about me. You've had community with me. And the reason why you're not in community with me anymore is because I'm gay. Fuck you. I'm good. Fuck you and keep it moving. You ain't got to know me another day in your life. And that's honest. That's very honest. That's very real. Like you get to, know me, and then because I'm gay, you don't. You got it for whatever reasons. If it's religious, don't care. If it's personal, don't care. You have a feeling about it, don't care. You got it. You got it. You ain't got to worry about me. And honestly, at 35, I'm gonna say I cared. At 35, I really cared about what other people thought about me. I cared. I had cared my whole life about what other people thought about me, about how other people perceived me, how I was perceived. And honestly, it didn't get me anywhere and didn't lead me to anything. I didn't get anything more in my life by having that mentality. And so when I came out, it was, I think, my first time saying that I am no longer going to confine and restrict myself to who I am, what I want to do, who I want to be with, how long I want to be with them. Like I said, I'm finally taking a step. Now, did I still care what people were thinking? Yeah. Did I engage in activities and relationships or dating scenarios that I shouldn't have? Yeah. Has it been like a great, 100% great experience dating other individuals? No. Did I get in a relationship with a woman and I enjoyed it? Absolutely. It was my first major relationship that I had ever had. And I was in that relationship for 2.5 years. And I loved her. Down bad. I loved her. But there is something to be said about being in love with individuals who have not done the work. And you haven't done the work either. And so as much as we tried to work on the relationship either through dating, separation, giving ourselves time to see what was out there, we were not going to come back around because I just honestly feel as if some relationships you have and you have them for the moment that you have them and then you move on. Would I get in another relationship with a woman? Absolutely. Do I see myself marrying women? Yes, I do. Do I see myself marrying a man? Sure. I'm not, again, beholden to either one because I do like both. But I will say that I see my life with someone who is healed, who is working on themselves, who is focused on me, who is willing to do what I am willing to do for them. They'll do it for me, and vice versa. I also learned too that I don't have to be beholden to anybody else's mess. It is quite all right for me to say that this is not for me. I will not be doing this anymore. And you can throw the deuces. And even though you'll meet individuals who want you, if they cannot do what it takes to not only maintain you, but keep you happy and secure, then you don't need to be with them. And that's a bigger lesson that I learned, even from coming out at a later age. Whether or not it's early, whether it's late, whether or not you're just kind of getting into it, I would encourage you to do a little more research, meaning follow individuals' experiences, see what they got going on. If you can engage in community, get engaged in community, because community is really big. If I was engaged with community, I would have known that woman that I first started dating was a toxic individual, and I would not have talked to her. I would have understood what it means when individuals want to talk to you, but they don't actually want to be with you, like with DL women. I would have had a lot more guidance and understanding about what was going on around me than just to have engaged with individuals who are not for me. Before we end, let me go ahead and give you the juicy details of the different type of women that I dated over the 5 years that they don't talk about. But I think they do that because it's like there's this idea that when you start dating women, it's like easier, it's better, they have a better understanding of you. You guys have more in commune with each other. Unfortunately, I have not had the best dating relationships with women. I just haven't. But it doesn't mean that you can't. Now, before I get into the type of women or the type of experiences I've had dating women, I want to let you know this. When I first started dating women, I thought the only category of dating women was women who want to date women. I didn't know that there are women who like women but will not be out in public with women. I didn't know that there are women who like certain type of women but don't like other certain type of women. Like they like straight women but they don't like bisexual women. I didn't know that there are women who will have whole relationships with men and then will date a woman like as a girlfriend but don't want anybody to know that they have a girlfriend, or they would want someone to know that they have a girlfriend. They want a unicorn. I didn't know that there are women who only date women who are masculine looking, or women that only date women that are feminine looking, women who are stems, who are a mixture of masculine and feminine, women who absolutely 100% will never come out as being gay because they're religious. And so they are going to hold on to that secret to the grave. Women who are very violent. They're violent and they're domestic and they will try and beat you down literally, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You got women out here who will play straight, and then will, when they are intoxicated or under some type of substance, enjoy gay. You have women out here who are curious, nothing wrong with curiosity, but they're killing people's cats with their curiosity. There's women that for the streets. You got women out here who will all I'm going to say is that there's a lot more going on with these women out here than I had anticipated. And to be quite honest with you, after I had my encounters, I said I'm good until I get my own healing going on. Because I went out there with really no parameters, I'm just out there on go, then I encountered a lot of different individuals. And honestly, if I had set up my own boundaries and really understood what I wanted and what I needed and what I desired and what I deserved, then those individuals would have never even gotten that close to me. So I'm going to go into some details about the different type of dating experiences that I had, just to give you a forewarning. Let me tell you about my very first dating experience with a woman. I was so excited to talk to her. Met her off of POF again. Those dating sites have been a bane in my side. So I went ahead and set up a date with her. I did a pineapple fried rice combo, some pasta salad. I had wine. I did a blanket with the picnic basket in the woods. It was so romantic, right? She comes there, she don't eat the food. She later on tells me she's not really interested in dating me like that. She just, wants to stay friends. Come to find out, she was an individual who would get with people online knowing that she didn't really want to engage with them and would just waste their time. She was known for doing this. Had another woman who reached out to me. She started off, she looked homely, I ain't gonna lie to you, but she started off hot and spicy, man. I mean, she was all on me, all over me. She sent me a message saying, hey, I had talked to my mom and I told her I was on a date. Her mom was so excited. They're going back and forth about it. And she says, I went on a date with a woman. I'm like, okay. Her mom hits her back and says, hey, you're going to hell for dating a woman. I'm like, you haven't told your mother that you're out? Had not had the conversation. So I don't know why she decided that her going on a date with me would be her first time telling her mother that she was gay. I don't know. She was so eager to have sex with me. She was so eager to get a hotel so that we could do what we do. Because I think for her, she had not experienced it. She was curious. We end up not getting a hotel. And then the next day she's like, hey, I don't want to do anything more with you. I think I'm just kind of going through a mental health situation and I have to let this go. Now I'm thinking, maybe you just need a little bit more encouragement. So I send a little playtime of the tatas. She's like, if you keep sending me this type of stuff, then I'm going to report you to the police for harassment. I had never had anyone say that they were going to report me for harassment for me showing them my tatas, but that was a first. I had another young lady. She was divorced, getting a divorce, going through a divorce. She was still living with her husband at the time. She would get high a lot. And beautiful woman, I liked her a lot, but she was still healing through her process of having been divorced from her husband. I had another young lady. She was absolutely not coming out. And I thought we were building. Like, we had talked about moving in together. We had talked about starting a company together. I mean, we were going fast. And she one day was like, no, we're not going to do that. I'm never going to come out as gay. I'm never coming out as bi. We're never going to be together. I don't know what made you think that. Well, alrighty. I thought that because of you. So thank you so much for watching this episode of After the First Sip. Listen, I definitely have more stories, but I always want to encourage you. Be who you are. Listen, life is too short. Life is way too short to be sitting around not being who you are with who you want to be with. And for me, I'm just learning that I have a lot to give. I have a lot to offer, but that does not mean that I also have to put a lot on my shoulders, weight on my shoulders, especially when it comes to dating women or dating men. Dating period is one big game. And I'll encourage you that if you are interested in taking that step, that you just do more research of what it will look like for you. And don't feel obligated or beholden. Don't feel obligated to do something you don't want to do. Don't feel obligated to give your attention to anybody who you don't want to give your attention to. Don't feel like I did not go from one box to go into another. I did not go from one aspect of restriction to be restricted in another aspect. And honestly, if I had to do it again, I would still come out as bi, like I said, just a little bit later. Just a little bit later in life. Thank you so much for joining. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. I want to just say thank you so much for all the ones who've been supporting me, who have been holding me down. This has been such an awesome experience for me to be able to share myself, share my story, share a lot of my insights and things that I feel. I'm actually doing this as an intro season so that you can get to know me and who I am, so that as I continue forward with my podcast, then there'll be more elements and aspects added, but I want it first for you to get to know me. So hopefully these stories are allowing you to get to know me. If there's anything else you want to know, or you just want to send some encouragement my way, I would love that. Thank you so much again. You have a great one. And until then, after the first sip, where a lady never drinks, she sips. Bye, guys.